Yankees at 2? So.
Yeah, I have a little bit more recency bias than that when I'm talking about power rankings. And for me, they have not, I mean, obviously they just got swept. They don't look like that team to me. They've got some injuries, the starting rotation. We named all this stuff. The lineup hasn't been quite as consistent outside of Aaron Judge. He's been the guy. Outside of him, they haven't been as consistent. I just think this team has too many holes, and they haven't been playing good baseball for them to be that high. Right now, I love Houston, although they have shown a little bit of inconsistency here. At least they came out of the break, took 2 straight from the Yankees, swept them, then swept the Mariners. At least I see them still playing some really good baseball at times. So I would say the Astros would be in there for me. The Mets would actually move up above them as well. Yeah. The way the Mets are playing, they've been hot as any team in baseball. And I actually really like the St. Louis Cardinals. Really? I would probably have them at number 5 right now. 9-1 in their last 10. Like I said, recency bias, but they're playing great baseball. I love what they've done all year, though. It's almost like they're building up to a point, and once push comes to shove, late time of the year, they're going to go on their run.
So I got Dodgers, I got Astros, I got the Mets, then the Yankees. Okay. I honestly feel like there's some other ball clubs that are just playing much, much better baseball. And my last team is Atlanta. I like Atlanta, and I've always liked them. Listen, this is a team that was their World Series champion. They figure out how to do it. They've done a great job of staying in there and hanging in there. They haven't paid great baseball. Obviously, they got beat up by the Mets here just recently, but you can't count them out. This is a club that, for me, that's a World Series champion club. You got to knock them off. And as far as I'm concerned, I've seen a lot of them. They've got a lot of guys playing very good baseball right now, and Albie still hasn't returned. Yeah. He's going to be a pretty good spark plug for them as well.
That's a good point. Since June 1st, Atlanta's been a completely different team, and they will be going to the playoffs. Whether or not they win the division or a wild card, they're going to be in the dance. But let's talk further about that series. For Atlanta, you're going into New York. At least take 2 of the 5. You'd love to take 3 of 5, but you only took 1 of the 5. That definitely was an eye-opening statement if you're watching. And for the Mets, you go, wow, Scherzer dealt, DeGrom dealt, and their offense really picked it up.
Well, you start to see what this Mets lineup roster, everything could look like come playoff time from this series. A big 5-game series, a ton of energy at Citi Field. Their arms went out there and pitched. Outside of Taijuan Walker, their starters were fantastic. David Peterson came up and made a great spot start, even though he's been in the rotation for a majority of the year. And that offense, I love the way that they made those Atlanta pitchers work. Those starters, they made them work. On the last day, I mean, you couldn't ask for anything more than what they did to Spencer Strider, because this guy's fantastic. He has great stuff. And he was on, I pitched 69, 70 in the 3rd inning. And I'm thinking, wow, they are just killing him right now. And sure enough, they got him out of there before the 3rd inning ended, and they ended up dominating the game and dominating the series.
The Mets are a totally different club that they've been over the last several years. They grind it out. They play quality baseball. They do not make mistakes. This is Buck Showalter ball, and now they got DeGrom back. The question about DeGrom I have is he going to stay healthy? I'm not sure. And that's if he does.
You're taking a deep breath every time.
Yeah, if he does, I'll tell you what. Yeah. They're going to be one of the best teams in baseball.
First start at Citi Field in 396 days, but he definitely delivered. Let's just hope he can stay in that rotation. Meantime, Padres-Dodgers series here, Ruben. Listen, I love the underdog, like a good story. I love the guts on A.J. Preller. I'm going for it. And the Dodgers go, we got this. We'll just smack it around a little bit. It's tough to watch.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. The Dodgers are the best team, and they show why they're the best team. And you can make all the trades in the world. I do think that there is a little bit of an adjustment period for those guys, and you know, obviously they do not have Tatis back in San Diego, and that is an issue. When he comes back, it'll be different. You don't know what kind of Tatis you're going to get, but he's definitely going to be a great ball player for him. Yeah. The question I have is whether they can really get over the stigma of not being able to beat up on the Dodgers. I know that some quotes were thrown out there. I know that you know, they're not panicking there in San Diego, but they have to be feeling it. They just continue to get beat up, and in this series, obviously 20-4 runs. I mean, it was just, it was a domination as far as I'm concerned, and the Dodgers made their statement as well.
Didn't hit a single home run, and the starter ERA over 9. Exactly the opposite of what we talked with the Mets, where their starters really showed up.
Absolutely. I mean, these Dodger starters, they've been doing it all year. The pitching staff's been doing it all year. They've been at the top of the leaderboard in ERA all year long. What really impressed me with these Dodgers is we've seen them have injuries. We've seen guys have underperformance. But we saw some of those guys. Chris Taylor came back this weekend, but we saw Max Muncy deliver. We saw Cody Bellinger deliver. Are those guys going to start getting hot and help that offense, which they didn't even need help? The way Freddie's been swinging the bat, they've had Mookie Betts all year doing his thing. This team is so scary. And when you talk about potentially getting Dustin May back at some point, the rotation only gets better. Maybe Walker Buehler is available late September. Yep. all these things come together. That team is as good as anyone on paper. They have been all year, and they will continue to be.
Yeah, Tony Gonsolin hasn't been as strong as last handful of starts, but I watched Tyler Anderson go. This guy's been a revelation for Los Angeles.
Amazing.
If Kershaw stays healthy, you mentioned those reinforcements coming up and down, the Dodgers are feeling pretty good. Craig Kimbrell, the one thing they say, want to make sure he gets right, but he was fine against the Padres in this series. All right, Ruben alluded to it. There's the players with the Padres and the Braves going, hey, nothing to worry about. Here's what Manny Machado said when he was asked he was concerned about the Padres matchup with the Dodgers. Concerned? Why would I be concerned? Not at all, he said. Why the level of confidence? Because I'm freaking Manny Machado, he said. But he didn't actually say freaking. Hey, I want my ball players with confidence here, Ruben. I like the fact Manny's got that.
Hey, I love Manny. There's no question about it that he's one of the best players in all of baseball. He posts up all the time. He believes in himself. I think he's trying to fire up his team. I think it's exactly what he's trying to do. He's trying to make them believe in themselves.
Yeah.
And they got to figure out a way to do it because you're not getting it done against the Dodgers.
Another guy fired up, Spencer Strider, the Atlanta Braves.
A lot of weird hits. They seem to be having a lot of luck right now offensively, so that's great. It's August. See what things are like in October.
When I hear weird, I just think it's a euphemism for lucky. And then he said lucky. He goes, some weird things, but kind of lucky. I'm like, that's not going to play well for a team.
No, and it's not good to do that in the media like that. I mean, that's just, especially, they were in New York. I mean, playing against that's not a good thing to do. For me, what it was, I watched the whole series really closely, and I wouldn't say he's wrong. There were some lucky things and some calls that went their way, but that's baseball.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
Yeah, the reason why
that's how this game is played.
The reason why they got those hits because they grind out at bats.
100%.
They make contact. Yeah. They're doing things much differently. Not trying to drive the ball out of the ballpark every time. They're trying to make good hard contact, and they had a lot of success doing it.
And those Atlanta hitters struck out 19 times. Yeah. So when you do that, you don't give yourself that opportunity. They were. I mean, making Spencer Strider work. They did to him his last start against them, too. This Mets lineup can really make you grind. And when you do that, good things happen on the baseball field. And you never want to see the lack of accountability. I would rather a guy say, you know what? We didn't have it. It just didn't work for us. I did my best. It wasn't good enough today. I'm going to work on it. We're going to make the adjustments, and we're going to get them next time. That's fine. To blame it on things, though, even though it may be somewhat true, it's like I said, it's baseball. You're going to get those. It's going to go your way at some point, too, but you don't want to start that game. You just want to take the accountability and work towards it.
And then he made the comment about October. I mean, how many Octobers have Strider played?
There you go.
That's what I'm going to say. All respect. He might be the rookie of the year, but you can't be the guy making that comment.
Easy.
If it's Acuna, if it's Albies, if it's one of those veterans, that I get it a little more.
He feels that World Series confidence in the locker room. That's good, but,
well, Spencer wasn't mincing words. Me and Tim, here's what Dansby Swanson had to say. I think the initial reaction, obvious, is we did not play well, really, in any phase. If you take out 2 innings of the second game of the series, if you take out that, we obviously did not play well in all phases of the game, really. That is a more measured and honest response.
That is what you want to see from your leader on your team, saying, yeah, you know what, it's on us. And he even said, maybe he was saying they got lucky for 2 innings, or we played well for 2 innings out of 5 games. We're talking about 45 innings, and we didn't put it together for those other 43. Right. Yeah, that's taking accountability and making sure that your team knows, okay, guys, we need to be better if we want to beat this team or any other team in the NL and get back to where we were last year.
Yeah, there's no question about it. I mean, listen, they know what it takes to win. The Atlanta Braves know how to do it. Yeah. And most of those guys in that clubhouse, they know how to act. Those are all guys that are champions. Yeah. And for me, when Dansby Swanson steps up and says those kind of things, that's the real reaction that they should have had, and that's the real Atlanta Braves.
Here's how tight it is right now. The Braves, I got the first wild card spot, then the Phillies, the Padres. Padres just a game and a half up right now on the Milwaukee Brewers. Giants and Marlins both sub 500. So for me, they're more pretenders than contenders right now.